Hi. The President of the US not going to Papua New Guinea, I think it's a good time because the US President will be able to focus on US matters, just like the New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins can focus on New Zealand matters, and the budget coming out by Prime Minister of Finance Grant Robertson, I believe, needs to stop financially supporting Ukraine, focus on supporting New Zealand. I find it abhorrent that the Labour Party introduced GST at 10%, National took it to 12.5%, then 15% GST, and clearly if you get an increase in wages or benefits and you pay tax on it, you're financially going backwards. I believe the housing crisis in New Zealand is serious, and with Australia going to bring in extra hundreds of thousands of people, that's going to cause a massive increase in rents in Australia and a shortage of housing. And in New Zealand we've also still got people who can't afford housing, and we have rising interest rates, and we have an economy where the people at the bottom end of the scale are not participating, in the sense the families need financial help or personal counsellors to try and lifestyle coaches to help them get ahead with their kids so their kids can be part of society, whether they're studying to get jobs or being part of the employment force. I've attached a couple of videos below to have a look. One is Now You Know, regarding Tesla not having Model X and S's right-hand drive, but they're still going to make left-hand drive. And apparently New Zealand's one of the countries that can allow driving with a left-hand drive vehicle. And the other matter is the Four Horsemen. It's a good video, and a couple of other things like debt as money, and the previous religious base, which was actually based on cancelling a debt. So people who have mortgages, I've spoken to some of them, and they believe the interest rates are going to go down, and if you've had a low loan and it's increased significantly, you're getting targeted. In the US they believe it only targets about 30% of the people when they increase interest rates, because a lot of people are locked in for 30 years with their mortgage, where it's not the same in New Zealand. So if I was the finance minister, I'd continue the public transport and the fuel rebate to keep inflationary pressures down and bring our troops home from training Ukrainians, which I believe have lost in excess of 300,000 people in the conflict with Russia, and Russia has still got all the might, and I believe the British sending depleted uranium and weapons to Ukraine is not constant with New Zealand's nuclear free policy and New Zealand's policy of supporting Ukraine, in my view, when alleged atrocities are breaking human rights law and alleged war crimes. I believe the New Zealand Prime Minister and the New Zealand Parliament, in my view, need to be held to account. So I wonder if anyone's going to pass any retrospective legislation to be able to hold these members of Parliament to account. We have an election in October 2023, and it doesn't seem to be on the agenda, and media in New Zealand, whether it's Radio New Zealand or TVNZ, they're supposed to be neutral, and I have serious concerns about free speech, so I have put some links down to some extra videos. Thank you very much.